tractor engine works hard, oil-black smoke spewing from the exhaust as we head up the hill. My nose fills with the smell of diesel and earth. My grandfather turns backward and forward, half focused on the straightness of the furrows, using two landmarks ahead, far beyond the headlands, to guide his line and keep it honest. One mark is an old Scots pine, the other a gap in a wall on a distant hill. He tells me about a young ploughman he knew who used a white speck as his more distant sightline mark, but ended up with crooked work, because the farthest mark turned out to be a white cow that was walking to and fro across a distant hillside. The other half of my grandfather's focus is on looking back, to ensure the plough does its work behind him. So he sits half-twisted between the two angles, the muscles in his neck taut, his leathery cheeks rough with silver stubble. The gulls fall upon the virgin soil and grab worms from atop the loosened surface. And then they quickly take to the sky again, racing away in a mad wing-flapping dash, gulping down their catch as fast as they can before they're mobbed. When they have the feast stuffed safe in their bellies, they're 100 yards or more behind the plough. They flap back into the air and gain height and glide down the field until they are above the tractor again. And then they repeat the whole cycle, over and over. Farther down, the rooks march across the field, and some of them take to their black wings and join the swirling crowd. There is a groan as metal scratches across the limestone bedrock. The tractor suddenly strains, engine toiling, like someone has dropped an anchor, then metal creaking and stone breaking, and the plough lifts a little and surges forward, released. A slab of rock appears behind the plough, sprung to the top. The biggest stones remain largely submerged, like icebergs, just the scratched tip or a broken-off fragment showing above the furrows. The soil on this hard farm is shallow, so this happens again and again. The night creeps in, the shadows lengthen. The seagulls head off for their roosts in giant V's. They look to me like the bomber formations in war films. The fells tremble and flicker in the darkening blue light. The headlands are ploughed. The work is done, and we head home. The tractor headlights shine a halogen yellow tunnel through the branches that arch over the road. Rabbits scurry across in front of the tractor into the verges. I sit, yawning. Fat, white stars flicker in the blue-black sky. As the tractor travels back through the little village, the houses are glowing with electric light, TVs, and people walking about in their kitchens or slumped in their living rooms. Every journey must start somewhere, and this is where mine began. I sat in the back of that tractor with the old man in front of me, and for the first time in my life thought about who we were and what the field was, and the relationship between the gulls and the plough. I was a boy living through the last days of an ancient farming world. I didn't know what was coming or why, and some of it would take years to reach our fields. But I sensed that day might be worth remembering. This book tells a story of that old world and what it became. It is the story of a global revolution as it played out in the fields of my family's two small farms. My father's rented farm in the Eden Valley, which we left nearly 2 decades ago now, and my grandfather's little Lake District fell farm, 17 miles to the west, where I live and work today. It is the story, warts and all, of what farming was like here in my childhood, and what it became. It is about farmers like us in our tens of thousands across the country and around the world, and why we did the things we did, and what some of us are now trying to do to make it right. The last 40 years on the land were revolutionary and disrupted all that had gone before for